Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to discuss my adapted research entitled Empirical Analysis on Bilingual Learning among Agusan del Sur National High School Grade 11 students. So the Philippine archipelago has long been subjected to multiple counts of colonization in the course of millennia. It brought over cultures and traditions, heavily influencing the country and became the reason that the Philippines have a diverse yet rich-rooted culture. Language has been their effective medium of propagation of their cultures. Traces of the rule can be observed as of today, for the Philippines has become a multilingual country. With the advent of globalization, the English language has become not only the universal language but also become the universal tool for the economic and educational empowerment. Educators and policymakers now realize the urgency for non-native speakers to become English proficient, hence the birth of bilingual education. Bilingualism is a process wherein two languages are being used in speaking. In today's world, bilingualism is more than the norm than exception. According to Paradis, the trend that there are many bilingual children as there are monolingual children has been recognized worldwide. This means that increasingly many children are being raised as bilinguals. The Philippines is no different from the rest of the world. The average Filipino speaks 3 to 4 languages, making the Filipino multilingual in tongue. There are two official languages, English and Filipino. Filipino, the national language, is widely spoken. According to 2000 census, almost all of the household population, 96.4%, who were able to attend the school could speak Filipino. It is the mother tongue of an estimated 25 million Filipinos. Study aims to determine the bilingual language ability of the students of Agusan del Sur National High School Grade 11 students and to gauge if they are linguistically proficient in both the English and Filipino language. To determine if there is an effect of using bilingualism as a medium of instruction that in turn affect their academic performance, students' engagement to learning, and teaching and learning process. And the study will also be the basis on the evaluating if the current teaching methods are a variable in determining the level of academic achievement of students in the institution. Learning a new language involves substantial vocabulary acquisition. Learners can accelerate this process by relying on words with native language overlap, such as cognates. Cognitive development in bilingual individuals. There are two major theories. The common underlying proficiency theory. This theory was developed by Jim Cummins in the early 1980s. It stated that the two languages is used by an individual, though on the surface apparently separate, function through the same central cognitive system. When a person owns two or more languages, there is one integrated source of thought, the threshold theory. This was first put by Tukuma in 1977. It suggested that the development of two or more languages in a balanced bilingual person moves upward through three identifiable levels, causing two distinct thresholds in between levels. According to this theory, positive cognitive advantages are only to be achieved when the first and second threshold have been crossed. The common denominator of all schools which profess to have a bilingual education program is simply that some or all of the content-based subjects are delivered through the medium of a second language, which is not the mother tongue of majority of the pupils. Some programs will aim at producing pupils who are bilingual at the end of their schooling. Others will aim at easing the transition from a minority language to a majority language, which might involve losing one language and acquiring another. Yet others will aim at increasing the pupils' competence in a foreign language so that at the end of their schooling, pupils have a working knowledge of that language. So in figure 1, we have students' profile box, mainly the element education, secondary education, and current enrolled strand. And in the left, and in the right, language proficiency level in the English and Filipino, mainly speaking, writing, listening, and reading. And below, factors affecting students' bilingual learning ability. Effects of bilingualism in terms of academic performance, student engagement to learning, and teaching and learning process. The first box represents the respondent of the study and their academic background prior from enrolling into senior high school strands. The second represents the topic of interest, which is the language proficiency level of in both languages. The third represents the factors affecting the student's bilingual learning ability. And the last box represents the effects of bilingualism in terms of academic performance, student engagement, and the teaching and learning process. To gauge the linguistic ability of grade 11 students, a qualitative assessment will be conducted through survey. Data will be then interpreted and conclusion will be formulated to further strengthen bilingual learning in schools. Study seeks to determine to what extent the use of bilingualism as a medium of instruction has affected the students' linguistic ability to perform academic tasks under perceived attitudes towards the two languages. Specifically, the study aims to answer the following questions. Number 1. What is the linguistic proficiency level of the respondents to the two languages, English and Filipino, in terms of speaking, writing, listening, and reading? Number 2. How does the bilingual learning affect the respondent in terms of academic performance, student engagement to learning, and teaching and learning process? Number 3. What are the factors affecting their ability to perform academic tasks in both languages? The study attempts to determine if the utilization of bilingualism in schools has indeed an impact towards the academic performance of students. The qualitative analysis on bilingual learning will benefit the following individuals. Students, the result will help them figure out where they lie on the bilingual spectrum of learning and to assess how to approach learning using the two languages. Teachers, the result of this study will help them to be flexible enough, find new tactics and techniques to help hone the academic performance of the students through the use of bilingual learning. Language coordinators, this will become their basis in approving program in improving the level of educational attainment of students. School administrators, this will serve as their guide to review currently implemented policies in the institution and challenge them to develop new ways implementing bilingualism in the teaching and learning process. Future researchers, the result of the study will serve as review of related literature for any studies that might be associated to this. This study will focus on the qualitative analysis of the linguistic proficiency level among grade 11 students of Agusan del Sur National High School to gauge students' engagement in educational attainment and to determine if current programs are effective in promoting efficient study habits that affects students' language and academic performance. The following method will be done at the Agusan del Sur National High School Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematical strand, Accountancy and Business Management strand, and the General Academic strand under the supervision of Mrs. Imelda N. Faracale. Survey to determine the linguistic proficiency level among the grade 11 students. In conducting the study, the researchers will select 30 students among 8 strands, STEM, ABM, and GAS, through cluster sampling. The time frame of conducting the study is 6th day of January year 2020 until the end of the year, at the end of the school year, at Agusan del Sur National High School. The study is limited to above condition. Assessment of the preparation of the other grade levels will not be included. Other factors that are not said specified in these segments are beyond the scope of the study. Bilingualism is the ability to use two languages. Definitions of bilingualism range from a minimal proficient in two languages to an advanced level of proficiency which allows the speaker to function and affairs as a native-like speaker of two languages. Nakamuli states that there are three types of bilinguals: compound bilingual, coordinated bilingual, and subordinated bilingual. Compound bilinguals develop two linguistic codes simultaneously with a single set of concepts. Compound bilingual is what occurs when the both parents are bilinguals and both speak to the child in both languages indiscriminately. The child will never grow up to speak both languages effortlessly, but will never master all the subtleties of either of them. In other words, the child will not really have a mother tongue. Coordinated bilinguals is where children develop parallel linguistic systems. So for any one word, the child was two signifiers and two sign fields. Children may be coordinate bilinguals if instance their parents speak only his or her own mother tongue to the child, or when the children have already registered their mother tongue and adopted by parents speaking a different language. Lastly, subordinate bilinguals develop when a second language is learned after the age of 12 and they learn a secondary language by filtering it through their primary language. According to Faflak, there are two types of bilingual speakers in bilingual countries: the fluent bilinguals who have attained fluency, if not mastery, of both languages are and are able to use them alternately in discourse. There are two parts of under this category: local literature and foreign literature. In the Philippines today, majority of the children are exposed to many other languages aside from their most dominant languages. Aside from most dominant language, besides the influence of the immediate speech community, media play an important role in the bilingualism, if not multilingualism of children. Although Philippine television is aired in Tagalog, cable televisions, especially children-oriented shows, are in English. Hence, the language preference of children is dependent on the language of the environment they are brought up to, and is largely enhanced by other means, either English storybooks or television. Study conducted by DITA on the metalinguistic awareness of Filipino bilingual children, wherein preschool students who are partially bilingual and full bilinguals are assessed by their language arbitrariness, phonological awareness, and vocabulary tests. In general, bilinguals outperform the partial bilinguals in the three tests. Another study entitled Use of Filipino and English in Social Studies Learning by Gorgonio has proven that the use of Filipino and English as the medium of instruction can promote better learning among second-year high school students of the University of San Carlos. Guan Gustillo's research tackles on the preference of Filipino workers between Tagalog and Taglish as their medium for discourse. 28 individuals has been observed over the span of 3 months, and the results shows that they are in favor for Tagalog as their medium for communication. Results also reveal that their main reason for choosing their language is because they would like to be socially accepted with their social group. In relation to this, there are also those who maintain that Tagalog is still the preferred medium of communication among Tagalog-speaking communities, especially to those who live outside the capital. More especially in rural areas, among the non-fluent bilinguals, communication among Filipinos is still Tagalog. According to the research making the use of bilingual interview data, some of the experience from the field by Halay stated that true bilingual interview data would connect to globalization and would connect to diverse societies through the use of more than one language. Together with the research, diversity in family involvement in children learning in English primary schools, cultured language and identity by Rawashima told that the use of monolingualism Monolingualism promotes diversity and complexity of culture, language, and identity. It is also important that the parents must also engage using more than one language so that they will be exposed to diverse culture, and through knowing many languages this would promote unity and uniformity.